Hey everyone, HeatherAsh here in a very echoey room. So I am in the airport, Dallas, on my way to Mexico. Left this morning. Mary came and picked me up at 4:45 a.m. Yay, thanks Mary. We drank coffee, we laughed. She dropped me off at Santa Fe Airport and I spent the day in Dallas. So I'm in a lounge and I have my own little room. It's so cool. So hey everyone, welcome. We are going to chat today about this idea of separation. And also just want to see who's here. Hey, Kathy. So if you're live, there's some of you that are starting to come on. Go ahead and share where you're tuning in from, maybe in the chat, or just say hello. I'd love to see who's here. And it's weird being in such a room that's echoing back at me. So I hope the sound isn't as bad to you as it sounds to me here. Yay! So how are you? Hey, Christine. How is everybody? Again, live from Dallas, Fort Worth. Hey, Lindsay. Hey, Layla. Danelle, Wendy. Echo doesn't sound so bad. Okay, good. It's just mostly in my ears. Good. So I just finished a blog and that's what I want to talk about today. Hello, Tammy. Hey, Corey. Hey, Maria, but mostly Maria Anna, Karen, Bretta. Mostly I just want to hang out with you guys. So let's just hang out for a moment and then I'll share. Camila, hey, sweetheart. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Hey, Amanda. Hello. Yay. It's been a while since I've been live on Facebook in this way, so it's really nice to connect with all of you. I'm starting to travel again, so that's been different. I just got back from 10 days in New York, visiting friends in Woodstock. I am so looking forward to the Firewalk training. I'll see you there, Danelle. So thanks, Leah. And now I'm heading to Mexico. So went home for a couple days. Hey, Aaliyah, thank you. Went home for a couple days, did laundry, watered my plants, gardened a little bit, hung out with my sweetheart. Hey, Sarah. And then got on another plane. So yay. And my plane just got delayed. I was a little bit like, my flight's supposed to board in 45 minutes. And I was like, plenty of time to do a Facebook Live and to say hey to everyone before I board the next plane, which is true. But now the plane's delayed. So I have even more time, which is lovely. So excellent. Hey, Valerie. I just messaged you. So again, for those of you that are just tuning in live, welcome. So happy to have the space. I'm in the Dallas airport right now. Wanted to just check in and say hello to everyone. Hey, Colette. And share a little bit about what I wrote about today. So I wrote a blog called The Power of Separation. So that's part of what I want to share today. And we'll do that in a couple minutes. I'm just letting people gather from all the places. So this is being broadcast live. Hey, Palmas, yay. To YouTube, Warrior Goddess Training, Warrior Goddess Women Group, Warrior Goddess Inspiration, my personal page, my author page. So all over the place. And right now I am in the Dallas airport in a lounge in my own little room, which is so cool, drinking coffee. So one of the benefits of traveling a lot is you learn about the lounges when you have long layovers. Thanks, Bridget. Yeah, we're going to talk about the blog today, so I'm glad you enjoyed it. Hey, Debbie. Wonderful. Hi, Ruth. All right, so yeah, let's talk about the blog. Let's talk about the topic of the day. So again, welcome to those of you that are just joining. This is HeatherAsh live from Dallas, Texas. And hey, Melissa. Hey, Darlene. Hola, Nali. I am heading to Teotihuacan right now. I'm on my way to Theo. Hey, Margarita. So happy to be, I just love getting to connect with all of you. So welcome. Yay. Here's our topic. Today, we are going to explore this idea of the power of separation. So, on Saturday, this Saturday was Juneteenth. And if you don't know what Juneteenth is, you've probably been hiding under a rock, which, you know, a couple years ago, I didn't know what Juneteenth was either. But Juneteenth is the day to honor the emancipation of slaves in the United States. And it was officially made a holiday, yay, which is really powerful, wonderful, about time. And as a way to honor Juneteenth, we at Warrior Goddess created a bunch of memes on our Facebook page around honoring and empowering Black women. And this is what always happens when we do anything that is Black Lives Matter, is about Indigenous women, is about BIPOC, is that there is an almost immediate uproar of multiple people yelling, and I say yelling because it's always in all caps, all lives matter, all lives matter, all lives matter. And then there's also the people that are completely offended that I'm talking and creating separation and division. So there's always people that are like, oh my God, I cannot believe HeatherAsh, you're creating division and separation. How dare you? Everyone is one, you're contributing to the problem. I am, you know, deleting myself off of your Facebook account because how dare you do this? So I want to talk about why separation is so powerful, why I'm a big advocate of separation. As a person that is deeply connected to different earth-based traditions, and my background is in European shamanic traditions, which is really about, like all earth-based traditions, cycles, seasons, and the honoring of the air, the fire, the water, and the earth. And that each of these elements also relates to different aspect of ourself, to our mind, to our energetic body, to our emotional body, and to our physical body. So I learned a long time ago the power of separating things out so that you can clean the different pieces up and bring them back together. And that example is such an important one, that your mind, what your mind needs to heal is different than what your emotional body needs. What the emotional body needs to heal is different than what the physical body needs. And that when they're all together, and the truth is they're all connected, they are part of the wholeness of who you are. And when they're all together, it's hard to clean. It's hard to understand what's going on with the parts. So I think about, if you think about an engine that's not running well and you just cleaning the outside of the engine and being like, I don't understand what's wrong with the engine. It's clean on the outside. It's all one. It's all shiny. It's fine. But you don't know until you take it apart what grit and grime and old stuff is stuck that's causing the engine to not work well. So if you want a system, an engine, to work well, you must separate the pieces to see what you've got, to clean it up. And it's the same thing. Often our mind and our emotional body are really wired together, and you're not in relationship with your emotional body. You're actually in relationship with your mind's opinion of what should be happening in your emotional body. Same thing with your physical body. We're often not in relationship actually with our physical body. We're in relationship with our mind's idea of what our physical body should be. So there's this separation that we need to do to start to look at, okay, what's the difference between what my mind is telling me, the agreements, the beliefs, the patterns and habits and thoughts that I've picked up, versus what's actually true about my emotional body, what needs to be healed in the emotional body or the physical body, that once I separate the mind out, I can then address it directly. Okay, so we create the spaciousness to mindfully clean all the gunk that's there. Okay, so that's true about these different aspects of ourself. It's also true about why I've dedicated my life really to empowering women. Now, I love working with all genders, and I don't see a separation. I don't think women are better than men or that they're more important than men. I realize, however, that women are domesticated differently than men, that women have different issues, agreements, beliefs that we're navigating that are different from men's what men are navigating. Not better or worse, just different. Okay. And because of that, my focus tends to be on women. Now, I've talked to a lot of men that have read Warrior Goddess training, that have read other books, that have done the teachings with me, that are in deep apprenticeship with me, that the teachings are the teachings. And there's an emphasis around the ways that women have been domesticated. And that is also a form of separation. We separate women so women have safe places, safe circles to unpack the old pain, the struggles, the trauma, what we've learned. That's not saying men don't have any issues. They get to have their own circles, but that there's this beauty of creating the separation so we can heal what needs to be healed and then come back together again. Yay! So this is why I love separation. And this is also true around women of color, people of color, that there is this immediate right now, what's the right word? Reaction that I'm seeing happen in social media of like, whenever somebody says Black Lives Matter, empower Black women, when we talk about Native, Indigenous women or humans, that there's this immediate all lives matter. And why is that problematic? Because what you're saying is everybody's experience is the same, and that this idea that we shouldn't be separating things, that we should just be washing the outside and calling it good, isn't healing or helpful, I don't think, for anybody. I think it's really important for us to call out where there is inequity. And saying Black Lives Matter is not saying nobody else's lives matter. It's calling out an issue, a problem that needs to be separated out so it can be addressed in its form so that it can then be integrated back. Okay, so separation isn't the problem. And also this is the other thing that people always say whenever I post something, the other pushback is you're creating division by doing this. It's all love. We're all one. You're creating division. No, the division was already there. I'm just naming it. You know, that's almost like somebody who has an addiction and the addiction gets called out and they're like, you're making it worse by talking about this. No, actually, the addiction's there. We're not making it worse by calling it out. We're actually trying to heal it. Okay. And we can talk about this in a lot of different areas of the importance of creating conscious separation so we can clean the parts, and that the parts are different. What's needed for the different parts is different. This is why, as part of the Warrior Goddess world, we have a call every other week that's specifically for the women of color that are part of our community, because they have different needs and places. And I have great honor for that. Serena holds those calls beautifully. And we also are creating space for our facilitators right now. We have a leadership team that we have a group of white women that are doing really deep work unpacking our inner racism, unpacking the places that we've created separation, and unpacking privilege, unpacking what we've learned. And it's powerful work. And it's not better or worse. And we're not creating more division by creating these separate spaces. We're creating safety and acknowledgement that there's different experiences that need different types of healing. And the intent is to come back together. The intent is not to continue separation. The intent is clean it up so that that innate wholeness is there, so that we can recreate. I also believe that, you know, this idea of the metaphor, the engine, is not a great metaphor, but let's play with it. Let's expand it. So if you have an engine that you've created and it's not running properly, and you take it apart and you clean the pieces, what I hope is what we're doing now is you take things apart, you clean up the pieces, and then you go, you know what, there's a better way to do this. This was never really great. This never ran well. Because that's the truth of the system that we're in, is that patriarchy, white supremacy, like all the things, the ways that we've created division, it never served anybody. This idea of, this old idea that we're still unpacking of men are better than women, of people that have lighter skin are better than people that have darker skin, like these are all old lies, but they're still woven into the fabric of our beings because they're deep. And so as we start to take them apart and really go, okay, where am I holding this? How do I clean this up? My prayer is that in that taking apart, in that separation, we can go, you know what, there's a better way to do this. This never served, this engine, this system that we've been in never really worked well. It was kind of hobbled together. So let's be creative of how are we going to put it back together? How do we do this in a new way? How do we respect each other deeply? And that putting back together, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. And we don't want to rush this process. And I think that's something that, you know, there's a discomfort. We're in a place of conflict and challenge and discomfort in the unpacking right now. It's just like if you're cleaning a closet or you're taking something apart, there's a moment where you're like, there's so much, I just want to shove it back in the closet, or I just want to put it back together quickly. But what creates the best change is when you stay with the discomfort of, I don't know, when you stay with the challenge, when you are willing to be present and take the time that's needed to unpack everything. And so that separation part and process, it's going to take time. It's just going to take time, and that's okay. And in this space, we get to have hard conversations. We get to look at ourselves through new eyes. We get to look at the place that we've used our spirituality to override our humanity. We've done that a lot in all sorts of ways. And slowing down to go, yeah, it's a challenging time. And we're in this process of separating and honoring and respecting and cleaning up the parts. As long as that takes, there's a lot of history we're navigating, and then creatively together bringing it back together. And one of the things we've been working over here, we've been working with a really amazing racial equity coach. Her name's Kimberly Archer. And one of the things Kimberly reminds us and me all the time is, when you're creating structures in your organization, let the people that are the most marginalized have a voice and in fact lead. And it's easy for able-bodied in a particular form, we can say, recreating the old in a kind of a new way. And what I'm interested in is, how do we radically create something super new, and that we invite everybody to the table in that creation? That we're not, you know, those of us that are in leadership aren't going, oh, I know how to do this, let me just lead the way. But we're actually slowing down and stepping back and letting a lot of diverse voices, not letting, opening to. Now, I just did this amazing interview. I've been doing interviews for the Shamanic Wisdom Summit for this year, and I was really honored to interview some of my favorite people, great-grandmother Mary Lyons, Flor de Mayo, Diane Longboat, and a couple of people that I hadn't met before. And one of my favorite interviews was with Queen Mother and Kidada, and they together, I mean, it was just a mind-blowing interview. And one of the things that we talked about towards the end and that they shared is that it's really important for different voices that don't usually get heard to be brought forward. And that allows all of us to heal, to be informed, to grow, to stretch. So exciting. We're in such an exciting time, and it's also challenging, no doubt. So again, to recap, separation is not a bad thing. In fact, conscious separation is needed to clean up the past, whether we're separating our mind from our emotions, our emotions from our body. That place of curiosity, of taking the system apart so that we can clean the different pieces, that we can look at what do these different pieces need, because they need different types of cleaning, and that we can then creatively together explore how do we put this back in such a way that it works better, that it serves more people, that it's more integrated, that it's more whole. That is an exciting journey. And there's going to be conflict, challenges, mistakes made, hurt feelings, all of the things. Okay. Somebody wrote me from the blog this morning, a newsletter that went out, that they saw a meme that was about save the whales, like save the whales. And then gosh, I should go find it. It was so funny. And the kind of the translation was, forget about all the other fish. So again, that reminder, when we say something like Black Lives Matter, that doesn't equate to, and nobody else does, or equate to, now I need to push back and say all lives matter. We know all lives matter, but it's really important to call out where there is the most inequity, where there's still really particular cleaning that needs to be done, and to also honor and uplift people that haven't normally or often have a voice, especially in the spiritual realm. Okay. Of course, this is not all the way across the board. This is about honoring the ways that the old structure that's dissolving around us needs our attention to separate out the pieces, and that we can do that with great respect and honoring of all the different experiences and all the different types of healing that we're in the middle of. And sometimes it gets messy. This is the thing too, is that healing is not a black and white, like you're not healed and then you're healed and there's a straight line. There's a lot that has to happen for healing to occur, and that reimagining possibility, and also owning history, looking at where we've been, looking at our own actions, looking at how do we create a new way together. It gets messy, and we can hold space for that as well. Just like in our own healing, it gets messy. Okay. And I can say about myself, I am an angelic being of light, but that's cleaning the outside of the engine and saying, look, it's perfect. Yes, it's perfect. And there's still gunk I'm cleaning up inside of myself. There's still ways that I need to create more separation between something to then bring them back together in a new way. And that takes time. So that's one of the magical things we're doing right now behind the scenes as part of Warrior Goddess specifically, is taking some old things apart, cleaning up structures. It's been so amazing and fun. We're redoing the website, and I just got the first mock-ups. We're not redoing it completely. We're just cleaning it up. We're kind of separating out the pieces of like what works and what doesn't work, cleaning it up. So I'm excited to be sharing with you all the changes that are happening behind the scenes. And it's that honoring of how do we mindfully create separation? How do we understand the places where there's already division, and by trying to like put it back together too quickly and negate that there is any division, we're creating more harm, and we're actually not letting there be healing. It's exactly the same thing if there was, if you had a broken bone, let's say, which I'm thinking about this because my sweetie Franklin broke his leg, yay! And so is in the process of healing that. And if you break a leg or you break something in your body, and then you're just like, okay, well, I'm just going to kind of bandage together and just keep going as if everything's fine because I'm whole and healed and I'm just making this happen, it's not going to go well. You have to acknowledge the bone's broken, which means it needs a particular type of support and slowing down for the healing to happen. And that's where we are, I believe, collectively right now, is we're in a paradigm shift that we want to be thorough about the separation, actually. Because in that mindfully separating out, we can do the best job at cleaning and then creatively putting things back together again. So may we all create good separation and explore where are the places where we have tied things together, or where we want there to be wholeness, or where we want the closet to be cleaned already, or we just want the engine to work, where we actually still need to take things apart and be in that mystery unknown in between space. And that we do this inside of ourselves all the time, in terms of what inside of myself do I need to separate out so that I can put my attention on, for example, my thoughts, what I'm thinking, how that impacts me. Or I can put my attention on what does my emotional body need to heal at this time. Or I can put my attention on what does this physical body need? And how do I separate out my mind's desire for what that should look like and really land in what's actually true for this body now, for this emotional being now. Not where we were or where we wish we were, but where are we now? That honesty of being in the present moment, honoring the past, but not trying to rush into the future. Can we be present with where the healing needs to be? And how we slow down to allow the healing to be thorough. That what we're also looking at, one of the hosts for the upcoming Shamanic Wisdom Summit, along with Michael Stone, is Shauna Bluestone Newcomb. And she is an Indigenous woman. And we were just having a conversation about cultural appropriation yesterday with Aaliyah, who's a part of the Shift Network. And one of the things she said so beautifully, and I can't wait for you all to meet her and through the Shamanic Wisdom Summit and get to know her, is the importance of looking at the roots of things and why things are the way they are, why things are the way they are. And when we can go into the roots, when we're willing to go into the roots and really look, then things make sense. And we know then what to do to move forward. So that is the wisdom, the power, the gift of conscious separation. Taking things apart, cleaning them, being really clear what cleaning needs to happen here before we bring them back together again. And that when we bring them back together again, we're doing so in mindfulness of as many people as we can include in that discussion. Okay. And in a way that when we're doing this with ourselves, when we're separating out the mind, the emotions, that you're working with your mind while understanding how much the mind affects your energy, your emotions, and your physical body. So there's this kind of two-part ways of seeing, which is seeing the separate part and seeing how it's connected to the whole. That, I found, is one of the best ways to be in relationship with the world, is to have that split perspective, that separation. That's something that I've been playing with for a long time. My degree, my bachelor's degree, was in international community development. And what I did is I created my own major, and half of my major was community development, which was on the ground. How do we create change within communities? And the second part of my degree was in international relations, which is global structures. How do we come together as people around the world? What are the similarities of the structures? Where are the differences? And so I learned from an early age, and I was always drawn to this idea that we can look at everything from multiple perspectives, and being able to go out and see from the eagle's point of view, very Toltec perspective, eagle point of view, and then coming into that jaguar, really being present with and what's happening right now, right here. So we have two eyes, we can learn to see from multiple perspectives. And like in my contacts, I have one contact that is my close-up vision and one contact that's my far vision. And that's how I really try to live my life, is that I'm constantly opening to what's close, what's in a community close level, and also what's global, what's the bigger picture, how does this fit in? That's another lens. And it's really powerful for us to be able to pivot back and forth between that eagle view and that all four paws on the ground jaguar view, the local and the global. And also what's going on for each of us individually and what's happening within our larger community, what's happening within the larger world. Because we're not separate, we're all connected. We're all connected. And that place of honoring the connection while we also honor the differences and understand, create separation. It's not a bad thing when you're using it as a way to create more wholeness, more integration, more harmony, understanding that the process to get there may be messy. That's okay. Let's have hard conversations. Let's be courageous. Let's be challenged. Let's make mistakes. Let's learn as we go along. And remember, the cleaning that we're doing, the separating out and the cleaning that we're doing right now is a lifetime journey. And it's been going on for a very, very long time. There are many, many people before us that have done the same cleaning, and that we're part of a larger flow, I believe, as humans, of shifting a paradigm. And we can do that more mindfully, with more love, without trying to make this false togetherness, but actually being willing to listen to different points of view, to be willing to understand that we all have really different experiences, and that there's different groups that have different experiences, and neither is right or wrong, and there's a respect for what healing is needed. And that last thing I'll share is, it makes sense, like as a woman, if I'm going to do healing on myself with the agreements and beliefs that I've learned as a person with a female body this round, I'm probably not going to go to a guy and go, hey, tell me how I should be. I'm going to look to other women, to other women's experiences, to really explore as a woman in the society that we're in the dream that we're in. How have we learned? What have we learned that's similar, that doesn't serve us? Where is the healing that's needed? And it's the same thing. So there's that separation. And again, it's not saying men's experience is not valid. It's just saying there's particular things as women that need our attention, and that circle of women coming together doesn't negate other genders at all. So the same thing is true for BIPOC people, Black, Indigenous, Brown, people of color. The same is true. There is separation that's needed for healing, with the intent that we're bringing everything back together in time, without, again, negating the differences. That, for me, is the beauty of true diversity, is that we're not trying to homogenize and say everything is one. It's all the same. At a very high spiritual level, that is true. We are all energy. We are all beings of light. And yet we're also in these physical bodies. We're here on the planet. Boom. And we get to deal with, be with, explore, be curious, be engaged in how to be human and how to continue to create healing and honor the diversity within ourselves and also in the collective. Yay! All right. So hopefully I am not frozen. Somebody just wrote that they. Okay, I think we're back. Let's see. All right. Hopefully we're back. You're welcome. Hey, River. So good to see you, sweetheart, here. I'm sending you all my love. Hey, Peter. Thanks. Always pleasure to hear from you. Hey, sweetheart. Because my realm is just healing in relationships and perspectives and stories, and have the courage to step to it and finally see and feel what exactly is true in all the messy systems. Great. I hope that I wouldn't freeze and then I did. Yay, I'm back. Excellent. Good. So any questions? I got time because my flight was delayed. Any questions? Any shares? How do you feel? I am here. I'll stay on for maybe 5 more minutes. So if you have any questions or thoughts or shares, I'd love to hear. And yay for internet coming back. And if you want to read the article, here's where it is. Oops. Boop, boop. So there's a link to the article if you want to read it. Thanks, Valerie. Love the idea with different views with the context. Yes, because you have the same thing close and far. I had such a funny experience yesterday. By mistake, I put in my far contact lens in both eyes. I thought I'd put my regular lens in, and I couldn't see all day. And I was like, oh my God, my eyesight's getting so bad. I guess I'm going to have to change my lenses because I can't see anything on my phone. Then I pulled my contact out and I'm like, oh, got it. Wrong contact. Yes. You're welcome, Dawn. Thanks for being here. Thanks, Lisa. Yeah. Thanks for joining in today, loves, in this little in-between love fest from the Dallas airport. River, this was such a beautiful message and much needed. I appreciate the reminders to be present and to keep going deeper and be curious. Miss you too, sweetheart. Hopefully one day I'll come to Florida and we'll get to see each other. Hey, Melody. It's always so fun doing Facebook Lives or YouTube Lives or whatever it is, because I get to see people from all over the place, all different parts of my life, people that I haven't met yet. It's all so great. Oh, that's so hilarious, Valerie. Yeah. Kathy, I've experienced separation in family relationships in order to find myself. Yeah, exactly. That's a whole nother topic, connected topic, but that could be another whole nother conversation of the importance sometimes in our healing of separating from family and separating from even friends and separating from who you've been. Exactly. Yes. Blessed day to you all. Happy solstice. We are just past the summer solstice up here in the Northern Hemisphere, winter solstice for all you south. Hey, Saint, planning a UK tour. I'm planning to come to the UK next year for sure. And so, yes, summer next year. For now, I'm finishing the building at Warrior Heart Ranch. So focus is on New Mexico, getting that center done. But yeah, oh, I know. I miss you, Saint. And I'm sure you feel separated over there in the UK, especially with pandemic lockdown. So come to New Mexico. Can you travel? Come to New Mexico. But yes, the plan is Europe next year. Yeah, great, Sherry. Thank you. Yeah, Ruby Lynn, that's perfect. Great. Sue, thanks for being so transparent and sharing your life with us. I'm about to go meet with my sisters for a few days. All your current experience are resonating with me so much. I'm going to stay in my own boat. So good. Yeah, pause and period. Exactly. Yes. Me too. Yeah. Breathing, period. Staying present, period. Creating space, period. Over and over again. All right, beloveds, thanks again for joining me today. My heart is so full connecting with each of you and sharing, and may you have a beautiful, blessed day. And let's all keep pondering the power of separation. Much love. Bye-bye.